Flatten that arm to the table. Hand against the table. Use the leverage of the table. And you got that first one. Have her take a deep breath first.
Wow. What a journey it's been since we released our film, Release, to the world. Words can't describe the experience of being shown the vision of this film 20 years ago, the journey of witnessing it come to fruition, and the divine adventure that has followed in bringing the heart of a spark that created a mass awakening in humanity to heal thyself. It hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. As part of that journey has been bearing witness to the control system censorship of our film and its initial release on the largest platform we had access to through my dear brother Santos, who was also in the film. With his channel, Mr. Astrotheology on YouTube, with a global audience of over 240,000, we knew it wasn't a fraction of the bigger platforms broadcasting propaganda, but it was a solid launch pad for our message. As we approached 50,000 views on all platforms we were premiering on after the first 4 weeks, our film was banned on his channel and Matrix Body Mechanics TV, and we were both given a strike for medical misinformation. And just like that, our movement to awaken humanity and the momentum we were building to transcend the algorithms was shut down. We disputed the banning of our movie and strike to our channel expressing that we weren't really sure what was referenced as medical misinformation because we just shared the factual history of allopathic medicine as well as a bunch of news clips from the mainstream media around the pandemic, speaking about the shutdown and factual statistics we addressed in a montage referencing the significance of humanity being more educated around how their body works. It was a harsh personal and transpersonal taste of the free world we live in, or what the definition is now accepted to be around free speech in America. Well, we didn't accept this, or take kindly to this serious crime against humanity. If you think about it, to block the collective consciousness from witnessing something to educate and inform, because it goes against what they are controlling you to observe and experience on their platform, is evil. The thought police took on a whole new definition. We quickly unlisted the censored version from my channel that hadn't gotten flagged yet and kept it live on our website, releasethemovie.com, where you can still see it along with the film that you're watching now. We answered back quickly with a censored version where we took out exactly what we knew got us banned and released a censored version on multiple platforms. But unfortunately, because of the number of strikes on the larger platform of Santos's channel, which by the way is just a reflection of how much valid information he puts out, we had to wait till one of his strikes was lifted to release to this larger network, which we did in June as the strike lifted. We capitalized on the censorship with giant red letters and then made reference to the uncensored version we still were able to give the people access to. We actually broke our record of views the first day and week from the first premiere, and it's still up. Nonetheless, they couldn't stop the movement that had begun as release had reached over 40 countries and all 50 states in the US. I truly wasn't prepared for the response that we received of hundreds of people writing us with their stories of their trauma and hardships around their health, challenges in their lives, their feelings of defeat when nothing else was helping them, as well as their burst of hope and inspiration upon seeing our film and the power of the inner physician to heal thyself. I instantly started to contact all of my practitioners as there were only 25 after the last program that we had finished with NMRT. So I had to get the gang back together, so to speak, to create an access point for this work for so many asking for practitioners in their area of the United States or their country. It was a powerful, overwhelming feeling to not be able to reach everybody that was answering the call to release. Then came not only the beautiful response from our practitioners holding the light and true beacon of release, ready to step up and be in service, but also came the answering of the call of practitioners from all over the world that wanted to come learn this work. From Kenya to Berlin to Australia to Thailand, the response was truly profound. Of human beings not only feeling the call to heal themselves, but to become a beacon of this healing in the world and heal others as they had witnessed in the film. I realized so many things needed to be updated. The website, my practitioners list, a newsletter, and of course setting up training programs for the influx of healers coming to the table, feeling the divine call to be beacons for this system of release with NMRT.
Life in LA at the time, and I went to Hawaii to try to find a new direction. And I had been a body worker for 3 years, but I was looking for a new technique to actually bring and facilitate more healing to my patients. And when I watched the Micah Sky release movie, I really felt like that was the technique that I was supposed to learn to do that.
By divine orchestration, a divine team of individuals began to assemble to assist me in this process, answering the call I put out to God for years that I cannot do this on my own. I am humbled to this awareness. And like all things divinely aligned, it came together at the right time. We began to set up a summer program and a winter program, and at the full force process of meeting with practitioners and preparing for the summer program set for July. Unfortunately, the world's still coming out of this big fear show over the last 2 years, and the world itself is in a state of great instability. With now a global recession, inflation on the rise, food shortages, passport mandates still in effect in many countries, it made it compromising for many of our called practitioners to reach us for the summer program, praying that much will change by the winter or next year. So our summer program was a more intimate, smaller group, and we held it at my home and facility on the island of Kauai.
Hand against the table, use the leverage of the table. And you got that first one, have her take a deep breath first. And exhale. And you're doing the first stretch. Remember, you got to guide her and tell her too.
Yep, nice, Annette.
Get your next one.
There you go.
And inhale.
For these individuals who had all been touched by release had now manifested themselves to experience and learn what ignited a deep call in them to become a part of this movement. So they all made the journey from all over the country to the sacred island of Kauai to become a part of this movement that activated them to release. Some of our NMRT practitioners were able to treat these apprentices for their first NMRT series before coming to Kauai to work with me, which was powerful to witness, along with the connection and bonds built as they've now become apprentices and practitioners of this work and share that release, tribe, and alumni. A couple of my practitioners made it out to assist in the program, and the journey was nothing short of magical for all of us. I guess I'm sharing this with you all to inspire and reflect in a very condensed way the power of intention, following your intuition, and that anything you focus on in alignment with the universe receives its support. They've now all flown off to areas in the US to bring more access to this system that activates the inner physician that we've identified to the people. And some of our practitioners, despite the restrictions, are going on global tours to share the healing with communities around the world. Deeply in my heart, do I want to take to the sky and do a global tour. But as a solo father of 4 kids, I find myself pretty grounded in on Kauai, and so I've set up a facility to bring you guys here if you feel called to transform on these sacred lands and in these sacred waters as you go through releasing the strama and activating your inner physician. I guess that brings us to the global tour I did and the magical journey we went on that sparked this film to show how the power of touch transcends borders, cultures, and language, as touch and healing is universal. And the magical being that showed us the power of that inner healing and the human spirit that changed our lives forever. It all began in Copenhagen. I'd say that's a good start to a monologue in and of itself. John and I had been on an excessively long flight and arrived and were set to meet with Molly and do our first lecture demonstration right off the plane in a yoga studio right in the heart of Copenhagen. And so our journey begins.
Aloha!
Aloha! So this is Copenhagen.
Yes. Welcome. Welcome to Copenhagen.
Thank you.
Welcome to Europe.
Yeah. Wow. We made it.
Yeah. Great.
It's really you.
It's me. It's really you.
We've been talking for so long. Yeah, virtually. Wow. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to sit down and talk, and
Me too.
so it begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the journey
Awesome.
begin.
Yeah.
Alright. Get closer, Mallory.
It's Mally, not
Mallory.
Mallory.
This is a Mallory. I like Mallory.
Okay. So now tea smoothie and Mallory. Okay.
Yes. You're expanding, you know.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
So we're refining and evolving.
Yeah. You just have to guide me.
I thought you were supposed to guide me. You were supposed to be the guide here.
I'm not. I'm just the organizer. What do you say?
Producer. Yeah. Tour producer.
I'm
There
a
you
tour
go.
producer. I like this
Wow,
new word.
See that?
Yeah.
So, here we are.
Hmm.
It's amazing to be here. I'm so grateful for you, and I know for John and I, it's fascinating that we're here because of what we made so far, and that it's affected people, and it's fueled the manifestation of what we've been doing to continue and go to a vision that we initially saw together, and to watch it come to fruition is so magical. So we're both just so grateful for you and for for what you're bringing to the table, and I'm so excited to work with you and have you personally, personally be affected and healed by this work, and to see all the people that you have brought us here to help, to see them be helped, and to see how you affected all these people. You were the catalyst. So, but
That's huge.
introduce yourself. This is our open
Yeah.
introductory interview.
My name is Málfríður Þorleifsdóttir.
Sounds good.
Hi, my name is Melly. I'm born and raised in Iceland, but I moved to Denmark in 1999. When I was 13 years old, I was in this huge accident. I don't know what it's called in English. You know, you have a tractor and then it sticks.
That cuts the grain and
No,
stuff.
you have the tractor here, and then there comes this, pipe or something out of the tractor, and it moves the machine.
Like a turbine or
Yes,
something
yes.
like that. Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. It's just a stick, and it moves. The tractor, the engine move it.
Okay.
It spins really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was helping out at the farm. It was in the farm, and I fell into this stick. What do you call it? And backwards. And I lost my left arm, and my hair and scalp and ears and everything, and it got ripped. I just literally got ripped apart, and some ribs broke. Some, my spleen exploded, and there's many things. So funny, because I was 13 years old. This happened. And I'm just like, I didn't lose conscious. I was just like, I am not going to die. It was a decision making. It was the biggest decision I've ever made, because it's so funny, because I grabbed power. I grabbed some kind of power in decision making. I'm not going to die. And I didn't lose conscious, and everyone that was around me, they just ran away, left me alone, and I was just like, because I think it was a shock for them, and they just thought, she is going to die.
Yeah.
I was covered in blood. I was looking here, and and my trousers, they were just blood, very, very
find this sign, blood. It was like red. I was just covered in blood, and I was just like standing up and moving into the house, and then they came and took me, and I was just in the middle of nowhere, so I had to wait very long time for the ambulance.
Wow.
And I was, losing. I could sense I was just like losing myself a little bit more and more. So it was really, really intensive. And then the ambulance came, and I was just shipped to, drove and then flew to the capital. And I was in a surgery for 49 or 52 hours in one set.
Wow.
So it was really, really heavy.
And they saved you.
Saved me. I was in coma for 6 days, and then I woke up, and my family didn't know is he going to wake up, or how is he when I wake up? Is he going to be brain dead or damaged? And I have a perfectly good reason to be a little bit crazy. So I have a big head injury, so I used it a lot. So, but I was in hospital for 1.5 months, and then I got home, started school, kept on with my life. It didn't exist in my conscious that I was handicapped or there was something wrong with me. As a teenager, I thought I had a big nose. I had nose complex, but nothing else. And I was just like happy, joyful, positive, always positive minded, and got boyfriends, lots of boyfriends. I drank, and I did everything that teenagers do. So I just have So that's what it. I wish I had this, near-death experience, like powerful, like everyone does talk about, but no, I didn't.
You did, because you took the power back.
Yeah, but I had some weird experience at the hospital. I don't know if I don't. It's maybe not relevant. We can talk.
Keep
about
talking.
And she did keep talking, and filled in many pieces for us, like who are the Hiltafelk, the hidden beings, and how are they tied to Iceland, and how are they tied to her story? We explored it all in these sacred lands, and an internal transformation, an awakening of a greater divinity and syncretism within. That is to come. But for now,
it. So bossy.
Go ahead.
That's what a director is.
Go ahead.
Bossy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Michael.
So we're here. We're in Copenhagen. Our first stop on the tour, and our first lecture, and looking forward to bringing neuromuscular release therapy and awareness around the power of touch to Copenhagen, and also taking a look at another culture's experience around touch and around intimacy. We're so grateful to be here with you, and the journey's just beginning.
Yes,
and,
it's exciting.
I'm excited. I'm the most excited to treat you and see what happens.
Oh my God, I'm afraid.
That's all right. As it's fear is false evidence appearing.
I know. The stuff that's here, it's gonna, I'm gonna feel it when it comes out. So I'm just like a. So it's exciting.
It's gonna get. It's when we face it, the freedom that comes. I'm really excited to see what happens, and excited for the next step. Our next stop from Copenhagen is Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
And we're gonna be on the road today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward. I've never been to Sweden, so it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Action.
Aloha from Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm here with Mally. This is Micah Sky. Our first stop on the European tour, and we have a lecture in the city. Hopefully be healing some people here. Then we're off to Sweden, then Norway, then
Denmark again.
Aalborg,
Yeah.
Denmark. Then we go to Berlin, Amsterdam, Paris, London, and then we finish in Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a pretty full tour. We're super excited to bring you on the journey, and looking forward to bringing just awareness about the power of touch and about releasing your past and your history and your suffering. And it'll be very interesting to see how these different cultures and the different societies respond to what we're doing, you know. So I'm really excited and honored to have you here and being our magical tour producer.
Yeah, producer. I like that.
So come with us, join us. We have quite a journey ahead, and we look forward to bringing you with us to bring more awareness about the power of release.
You have to put it here. This one. Like so. You came there.
Are you really just filming me doing this right now? I'm gonna kill you, bro. You are freaking nuts.
Along the journey of creating this film release and sifting through hundreds of hours of footage, did we become very aware that on top of all the footage we were sifting through, so much of the footage seemed to be in extremely poor audio quality despite what we could do. And also reflections on how many times we had battery and power issues. There were many compromises along the way on this tour of release, in a car, going across countrysides, going across Iceland. So with that being said, our journey of release took off explosively with our first lecture in Denmark and the first introduction of neuromuscular release therapy and release I was able to give in Copenhagen.
If we were to look at the body like a machine, there is an instruction manual for the machine, right? So there was an instruction manual for this machine, and it was lost. So yoga would be one of the parts in the instruction manual to service the body, right? The other one would be this ancient science that I'm going to show you that's lost. We're all familiar with computers, right? Yeah? Okay, so computers have a hard drive, and they have software that you put into it, right? So in your hard drive is a program to heal yourself, okay? But it gets shut down over the years because we don't get touched enough. So within just one sweep of your arm, I'm going to activate the nerves and the electricity in your body, and that electricity is going to activate the body to heal itself. So your body was so brilliantly designed. It was designed that if we, through touch, we activate the body will fix itself. Most of, even when I'm talking, most of it you're just going to feel. Because I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to do one of your arms, okay? So our arms are tools that we interact in the world, we use them all the time, so we know how they feel. So I'm going to open one of your arms and I'm going to have you compare it to the other arm, and it's going to work differently in a matter of minutes. I felt like the first time I had this done, I was 19, I felt like I had been away from it for 19 years and I finally got it back again, whatever this thing was. It wasn't new, it felt familiar and old, and the freedom that I got felt so correct and like something I should have had for the last 19 years, and I just felt so grateful. What's going to be fun about this is it's interactive. I'm going to work on each one of you, and I want you to feel what we're talking about, and then we'll talk more about it, okay? So you have electricity running through your arm. 5 different nerves come from right here. This is called the brachial plexus nerve. I'm going to use the electricity in the body and flush it right out the arm. You're going to feel it go right down. Ready? Good. And I'm going to take it. Yeah. And then it goes down. And here we go. Good.
Yeah.
And here we go, right out the finger.
Yeah, talk. Yes, thank you.
Good. Okay, here's
Don't
number
miss
2.
anything.
I'm not going to miss anything, I promise. You let me know if I miss anything. We're going to come straight down.
Oh,
Good. Good.
seriously.
Everyone wants to do it now, huh?
Yeah.
Now, also, I want you to be aware, it's different for everyone. So each one of you, this will be different. It'll feel different. For some of you, it might feel really good. Some of you, it'll be more intense. Okay? The more years we have in our body, the more stuff is in
I
there.
have 65 years.
So 65 years,
Yes,
exactly.
and this side, I take everything into this side, so that is...
So it's good, because here's the thing.
Oh,
Human beings are carrying around their past.
Yeah.
So all of us are carrying our story. Our mom and dad's story, our family story, all the stuff that's ever happened to us, we're carrying in us, okay? And guess what? Everyone else, 7 billion people they're all carrying this too. So when we flush this out of you and you go around the people who are all carrying this, they see it and they feel it. And they'll look at you and they'll just go, what are you doing? Well, you look so different.
Yeah.
What? Then because they want that. They want that freedom.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you're not free. You are enslaved to your past and it's in you. And all the conditioning from your government and all of the things that are, well, not as bad as where I live in America, but everything that's artificial, that's not you, that doesn't come from the true nature of who you are, is in your body still. And you identify with it. We identify with being a woman or a man. We identify with where we grew up. We identify with our family lineage. But all that stuff is not who you are. And if you learn anything from the spiritual teachings of yoga, it's about letting go of who you think you are and who you've been taught that you are. You know, because 99% of your life is unlearning. Only 1% of your life is learning. 99% is all the stuff that's not you that you have taken on. Yep, exactly. Good. All right, so almost done. Very good. Come last one right here. Lengthening. Good. So, good. Okay.
You're good.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
After the lecture, I had set up the first neuromuscular release therapy treatments in Copenhagen to share the first experiential process with release.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Christine, and I just got a treatment. It was a very good experience, and I feel very volumized in the energetic body, very relaxed and like floating. Feel very good.
Were you scared or anything like that? Just tell me. Like,
It was freeing. I was crying and I was laughing, and it did hurt and it did tickle. I would definitely recommend this treatment to other people
and give me a why. Why would you do that?
because it's a way to keep in contact with your body and know about the partnership between body and mind. My name is Christine and I'm from Denmark, Copenhagen.
Yay.
And with that, John, myself, and Molly headed off onto the road, headed to Sweden. And our first interfacing and real kind of bonding process began as we were packed in a car with our stuff, headed on the highway, with Sweden on the horizon. Getting to know each other brought up many questions about these foreign lands, these places. Molly had lived originally in Iceland, but funny thing about Europe, all of these countries are very condensed together, so you truly can drive from country to country and fly from country to country in a very short period of time and kind of hop around or tour around for us. This was all what was on the agenda.
Molly, will you please tell us about Christiania? I'm fascinated. I can't wait to hear.
I think it started in the 60s. People just there was an empty space, empty houses, and they just started living there. And it's like this a little free country inside of Copenhagen. They don't pay taxes. It's more collective, communal. You're living in commune.
Oh, commune.
Yeah, commune.
Got it.
And they're just like, building these little houses, and they are, conscious about the environment and trying to do things, in the environmental correct way, if that makes sense. And they have always, you can always go there and buy marijuana, even though it's illegal in Denmark. But the police has just looked a little bit away, and it's totally different. It's like you get inside and you're back in the 60s.
Wow, so it's like transporting back in time.
Yeah. So it's You know, but now there has been so much problems. You know, criminality. We say criminality. A lot of criminals.
Criminal activity.
Yeah, and the police are making Russia.
Arrests.
That's all good.
No, because it's a very valuable place. You know, it's again about money. It's a valuable spot in Copenhagen, and they are trying to shut it down. And there's been so much, you know, the whole country of Denmark are trying to support this little place, so the people can keep having their homes and live there. So it's a very special place. But when you come, there are many tourists that goes there or travel there, but you can't get to see where the real people, they're living a little bit behind, you know. So you get this tourist side of it, but you can't get to see where the real people, they're living a little bit behind. There's, oh my God.
You got it. Let's go.
I can't, you know, all of this.
Christiania sounded fascinating, and I was excited for us to make a journey there in our time still left in Denmark. But first, it was on to Sweden, and so we crossed bridges to lands unknown. Where we had a lecture set up that evening, it was last minute, so we weren't sure how the turnout was going to be. And then onward the next day, we had found out that the largest marathon in Sweden was going on when we happened to be there. So it seemed like the perfect opportunity to get down on the streets and see the people, be with the people, share this work with the people. And we had a practitioner that had reached out in Sweden that was interested in becoming a potential ambassador for neuromuscular release therapy. As we arrived in Sweden, it was of a character of its own.
She can't speak this language. It's so funny to hear her trying to speak it.
Castles, brilliant old architecture from what many reflect to be a Tartarian civilization.
This is, I guess, as we get more spring into summer, the days are really long here. Sometimes it's daytime till 11. I mean, that's mainly, well, in Copenhagen anyways, but look, it's 8:30 at night.
This was a last-minute lecture, so we weren't sure what the outcome was going to be. We'd either have a decent group or possibly nobody at all. We were already passing through Sweden no matter what, and we happened to be there for this larger event, so as we arrived, the latter seemed to be the case. So we made the most of it and gave the owner of the studio a demonstration of neuromuscular release therapy, and we were on our way to settle into the space that we had rented in Sweden for the evening, preparing for the marathon in Sweden the next day. After our demonstration, it was time to try to find some food. Now, finding food in a foreign place is a unique challenge. Some countries are easier than others with all kinds of marketplaces and fresh food you can get. Sweden was more of a processed place.
So, this is just the bacon section. And this is the dairy and cheese section. Let's take a look. Wow. Another level of food quality. I mean, everything here just looks so unprocessed. Awesome. More to come. Let's go to Teabag Scroat. John wants to go on the Ferris wheel. So John wants.
We can hold your hand.
That is a pretty epic Ferris wheel, I gotta say. That thing is huge. And look, they got like a tall tower.
Okay, are you...
It's kind of Vegas-y.
Okay.
Now you're gonna go through this roundabout.
Then it was onward to try to find our space to rest our heads for the night and wake up fresh for a marathon the next day. Along the journey, we met some interesting individuals that actually helped us find our place. One of them was a young man from Egypt who gave us a good basic breakdown of the area we were in and where shops were and things we could get and things that were of use while we were in Sweden. We planted the seed with him to do a potential demonstration of this neuromuscular work and to interview him, to give perspective on this insurgence and growing movement of immigration that we've seen in multiple countries throughout Europe, and a look into a completely different world and people and upbringing on this planet, to give perspective. We arose to a new day in Sweden and sunny skies. John always has a unique ability of integrating into a community and engaging that community into more conscious practices. A lot of times just because he goes outside and starts doing his morning practices, which he does every day. And he'll usually do them outside somewhere, and if it happens to be an apartment building in Sweden, well, it tends to direct attention. John had specifically drawn the attention of a very sweet family that was outside at the time, and John engaged them into an entire yoga set. After morning practices, we were off to go check out the marathon and meet with a potential practitioner who had a body of practitioners in Sweden that seemed like the perfect ambassador for neuromuscular release therapy.
All right, so we're in Sweden, in Gothenburg. We just came down here for the largest marathon in the world. Smell the roses, but I'll wake up and smell the lilacs. My parents used to have these, well, they still have them at their house where I grew up. Lilacs, so good. Oh. Wow. All these flowers smell good. They like chose all the flowers that smell amazing. All these people need some release, bro. they're running all the damn flowers. We should have a little neuromuscular therapy booth somewhere around here, you know? Okay, bro, get ready.
We had set up to meet on the street with this new practitioner that wanted to check out neuromuscular release therapy and the power of the inner physician. So we met up on the streets where we did our demonstration and talked about the power of the inner physician and the power of touch. glad you came out, bro. I really feel there's some kind of divine union for this. Out of anyone that would have responded, that it was you, who happens to be connected to a body of therapists and something that we want to start interfacing with and introducing this science to anyways. I don't believe in coincidences. God told me a long time ago that this work needed to be out to the world in a very important time where we are more enslaved to our past and to the conditioning of this world, and it just changes your reality. It's amazing.
The biggest marathon in the world.
Yeah. We just passed us while we were doing some neuromuscular therapy in Sweden. Perfect. Goal accomplished. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming out. Bro. Yeah, seriously. Drink a lot of water, okay?
Yeah.
Because we just dumped all this stuff into the bloodstream, which is the sewage system. So we want to flush it.
How you feeling?
Sorry?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Relaxed.
Lighter?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And ride that wave and let it continue. Yeah. Yeah. Met with a practitioner, a therapist here. Did some neuromuscular release therapy on him. Educated him on the science. Hopefully he's going to take the apprenticeship program. We shall see. Did some treatments. It was amazing, really powerful. Beautiful city, beautiful countryside. I don't feel like we had enough time here, but we got a tour scheduled to keep. So the journey continues.
Where the fuck am I going? You know? This is a
Is it chia seeds?
Urtekram. It's really good.
Urtekram is a good one?
Yeah.
Multigram?
Hey, look it. Bro, this would be perfect for the salad. This is soja. I'm guessing this is soy sauce. So that means the umi plum vinegar is probably right around here. Here, this is shoyu. Perfect. That's what you want right there, bro. Shoyu.
Although the food was processed and mainly we found a lot of grocery stores, the processing was a quarter of the processing of food in America, and that became apparent. Along the way, we planted the seed to do a demonstration and lecture with a young man from Egypt who had immigrated to Sweden, and we found out later just escaped losing his life to come to Sweden from the geopolitical issues and military conflicts in his country. We didn't realize we'd discover one of our more powerful interviews in Sweden. We planted the seed to do a demonstration of neuromuscular release therapy and the power of touch with him, which he was openly receptive to, as well as interviewing him for perspective on his life and his experience.
That's a reality that, like,
Yeah.
you know, it needs to be expressed from your perspective, you know?
So I don't like hate that. I don't like. I'm a Muslim and all that, but I live here and all that. But I don't hate, you know, Americans, you know, and all that, man. It's no hate, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was in Iraq, like 2 weeks before I came there, my neighbors, the terrorists, I took a little girl, like she's 7 years old, you know. They took the body, they cut the head, arms, and legs, and they threw it back to the family, and all cut and everything, you know. And I saw the mother cried like 2 weeks, still she crying a lot, you know. She's missing her baby, and that was a horrible death, you know. And like we were reading like the Fatiha to her, you know. It's something in Quran, like it's like we praying for her, you know. And like when I was there, it was two people that had bombed themselves, and a lot of people died there. And like I couldn't hear that good, you know, but I still did hear something, you know, something big. And I understood just like about some minutes after that, I understood that it was a bomb, you know. And it was my first time that I did go there, and it happened twice there.
On Ramadan.
Yeah, under Ramadan, yeah. And like in Islam, it has nothing to do with death, you know, like killing people. Everybody's thinking like Islam is it's a fucked up religion. It's about killing people, and so I think that somebody like it's a lot of people that think that way because the media, they listen to the media. We are getting hypnotized by the media. We are getting hypnotized by everything, in school, like everything you see, everything you learn, you get hypnotized. Like, so of course when they say like in TV, they say, oh, in like everywhere, like terrorist shit happens, like it had to do with Islam. It had nothing to do with Islam. And like, yeah, it's about them, man.
What was it like to grow up in Egypt till you were 4?
It was rough.
And then you came to Sweden?
Yeah, in Sweden, like, man, they give everything to us, They treat immigrants here like very good. Very good. Yeah.
How many languages do you speak?
Me, I can speak Arabic, Swedish, English, and Somali.
Somali?
Yeah, Somali.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. But Somali is not that good, but I can speak that.
If you were to have a message to like the world of America about what you hold in your heart, being yourself and being Muslim, what would that be? Within what is your truth within being Muslim? Like who are you? Like
me, man, I'm a regular guy, like I respect people, man, a lot, man, and it's all love, I don't hate like people, I don't do that. It's all love and all that, man. Nothing more than that,
How was touch for you when you were a child? Like, what was touch like for you with your family and your culture? Like, how were your parents? How was touch for you?
Like, man, when I grew up, man, like, it was hard, man. My father, he was very, like, he was literally, like, old-fashioned, and it was very hard. Like, we didn't have, like, if I did something wrong, man, I get hit, man,
Yeah.
It was like that. I was used to that, since I was a little child.
Mm-hmm. How was your mom in relation to any type of physical
Like
contact?
my mom, she's like a typical mother, I love my mother,
Yeah.
She have done so much for me and my family.
Loving
and my father too, man. Even though, like, when I was a young kid, like, even for my father, man, even now, if my father hit me, I let him hit me, man. I can take a bullet for my father, I love him, like you. I don't believe that you are exactly like, maybe, like, like in the Middle East, like, every father is like, they are the same, like, I got a lot of friends, from everywhere, like Africa, like Europe, I got like Middle East, like I got in everywhere,
Okay, so when
From
you ask you
America.
because you know all you do, because you know you have your friends, and I bet you talk about their relationships with how their fathers are.
Yeah.
So how are they? So tell
They
me
are
about
very calm down,
They don't strike. They're not like that.
No, they're not
Really?
like that, But I can think, like, I know that the thing that when I grew up, it wasn't right, but how I got treated and all that, it wasn't right. Like, I was just a young kid, I was like, my father did hear about that a lot of times. So people come in, hey, your son just hit me, your son just hit my son, and all that. And my father,
Yeah.
he learned me a lesson by whipping me,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lesson, that made me a man,
Dude,
so,
I had some spankings.
yeah,
Straight up.
Everybody, I think that everybody had that,
I'm familiar with the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it was not just a bet, man. I could put hands, just like kicks and boxes, man. I'm telling you, yeah. Even if I lied to my father, you know, I always gonna be honest, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing like, we have learned that in Islam there is no lying, you know.
Right.
Because of that, I can't lie for my father. He's gonna know, and if you know, we're gonna whip my ass, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as a parent, you know, I'm a father.
Yeah, I know that you told me.
And so it's an intense thing, bro, to have a little one and to put a lot into raising them and feeding them and cleaning their poop. I mean, it's a saintly process. It's magical because it's a love that you've never experienced, even with your partner. It's just another level.
Yeah.
So when this little creature that you love does something that's destructive out into the world, it's crazy for you.
My father, he can tell me like, tell me everything, man. Like, hey, you're garbage, man. Like, I was used to that, man. I tell you, you know, like, you're garbage, man. You ain't nothing. What are you doing for us, you know? I was used to that, you know.
Yeah.
But
you still, I mean, that's not, there's nothing productive in us saying that to you as a parent to a child. There just isn't.
No, nothing, man. Like,
I'm just saying.
When I get a child, man, I would never hit.
But that's beautiful.
I'm never gonna put my hands.
Because you're breaking that pattern, you know? And
exactly.
So you've done it. You're evolved. You have evolved from your predecessor.
Yeah. So, brother, the mission, and the truth of it, of what we're doing is breaking a cycle. It's a cycle that's happening in our lives through mainly our masculine and our belief systems and our perceptions.
So what do you want to do with your life? I mean, as
me right now,
20,
right now, man, I have been working almost a year like a teacher, assistant teacher, you know.
Assistant teacher. Oh.
Yeah.
For what's
for small kids, like they are 6 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They are 6 years old. Like I teach them like mathematics, like alphabet, like some things. Yeah. I play
That's
with
awesome.
them. You know. Yeah. I play with them and all that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I've been working there like almost a year now. You know.
Wow.
So. And before that, I was working at Volvo and some other things, you know, companies, you know. Like, even when I was in school, I was working, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out. Remember how I told you that I do this healing practice? So your body, like we talked about, is a computer, right? And when you use your body, like when you use your arms, your brain sends electricity through your arm to do things with your arm, like pick up a glass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so every time you tell your arm to do something, like light a lighter, that electricity goes down your arm and it releases memory.
Yeah.
And so every time we do that, it creates this layer of memory that starts accumulating, and it makes your arm slower and more sluggish over time, but you get used to it because it's gradual how it accumulates. So your whole body starts getting slower and more sluggish. Now you're only 20.
Yeah, I'm 20, man.
Yeah, that's good. So it's actually amazing that I get to introduce this to you at this age, because you still got 5 years before your body stops producing cells as much as it starts degenerating, and that's when you start your aging process, supposedly. Now we talked about people living to be much older than they do now, right?
Yeah.
Like originally.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna release one of the nerves in your arm, and it's gonna send a little electricity down your arm, and it's gonna clear all that crap that's been collecting your arm, and guess what's gonna happen? Your arm is gonna feel different than that arm, and it's gonna continue to feel different. It's gonna feel lighter and freer and more open. And you get to compare the two. So what you're gonna notice is the arm that I didn't treat is gonna actually feel slower and sluggish and kind of even achy.
Yeah.
And this one will feel light and free and like nothing. You wanna try it? This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. I have to sit here and I'm just gonna clear it right out the arm.
Yeah, I can do
Okay.
it.
Just breathe though. You gotta breathe.
Yeah, so
it
once you
may or
breathe-
may not hurt. Mhm.
There we go. There you go. There you go. So you're gonna feel it's gonna go right from here. Feel it go right down.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Feel that? Okay, so we're gonna take it to the elbow. Gonna come right out, boom, right there. We're gonna take it right down to the wrist. Got it? Okay. Now we're gonna take it right out your hand. Boom. We're gonna take it right out this ring finger. Right here. There it goes. Boom. Cool? So that's one. There's 5 nerves.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do the next one. It's right here. There we go.
Ah, man.
Wait,
all the
Breathe,
five,
just breathe,
man.
just breathe. You can do it,
It's all
man.
good.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
All that's gonna happen is your arm is gonna feel literally lighter and freer and more open.
I'm screaming when he does this.
Yeah.
I'm screaming when he does it. You don't want to be screaming. At least you're not screaming.
And I'm being exactly the pressure that we need to get what we need done. There it goes. Boom.
Yeah, it's like it's the third.
Electricity, you feel that?
Is it the third?
The what?
The third.
That's the third. Oh, you're counting them, yeah.
Yeah.
He's counting them, yes. Alright, so next one's up. Here we go. I'm gonna bring it all the way up. Boom. There it goes. Boom. That's a big one. See how clean he handles it? Bro, you're breezing through this. Do you want to know why? Because you're only 20. So the more your body is going to get older, how old are you, my love?
42.
42.
I just blew.
And you, sir?
42.
I'm 37.
Yeah.
So you're talking to people that have some years on you, and we can share our experience of what happens to your body as it starts changing, right?
Yeah.
So for us, this work is more intense because we have more of this crap collected, and you start noticing that around 30, your body will just kind of start not feeling like it is right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing for you is draining what you've accumulated so far, so that as you age, you're not gonna have any of that shit, so you'll naturally not be in the position we're in right now.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm hooking you up,
Yeah.
right? All right. So a little bit more, and you're breezing through this, bro. Here's another one here, boom. I wanted to really clear that one for you. Because your system's pretty clean, man. For a lot of people, this is pretty intense, just so you know. So it's good, you got some tolerance. The same lines that we can heal you with, you can also hurt somebody. That's the duality. Here we go, boom. Excellent. So you see a little bone in the wrist. So the wrist has a lot of bones in it. Here we go. Got it. Boom. Feel that last one?
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm
give it a
just-
minute.
I heard like it's like
There's some
slow.
popping.
Yeah. Very slow, man.
Yeah. So give it a minute, and I want you to just let it sit there, and then I want you to compare the two arms and see what you feel. So you should notice on that side, it feels lighter, kind of cleaner.
Yeah. Like,
So even try your two hands, see how they feel, like move them both, like open and closed. Yeah, do that. See how fast you can do them. Yeah, look how much quicker that one is. Feel that one dragging? Now what's happened is we've activated the nerves, so your computer is running an analysis of the arm, and it's going to start fixing anything that's going on. And the body's going to run an analysis, start healing a lot of that.
yeah.
So you're getting fresh blood and oxygen to the tissue. So that shoulder is now lower and more lateral than the other one too. That was a
Really?
little more collapsed. Yeah, I mean you'll see it in the mirror.
Like, man.
It's different.
Yeah. Like,
What do you feel? Like a tingling?
I don't know, man. It hurts. Like,
Oh, you feel some pain there?
yeah.
Good. All right, let me see that point. Point it out to me.
The head.
Good, you found it. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go up deeper. Here we go. Let that fall. Try and let it relax all the way down. There we go. There it
Yeah,
goes.
but
Good. Here we go.
shit.
Here we go. Here we go. Almost there. Now this is the point right about here, right? I think
Yeah.
that's where it was. Okay, so hang on. We're just gonna open that this way. So what we're doing is look, we're going across it, and then we're going lengthening it, and then it opens it. So think about this as a machine. So the muscle goes
Right.
this way and this way. So we're going lengthening, and then we're going across. So that's just opening it. And so it's naturally going to make it fix itself, because that's how the tissue is structured. There it goes.
Alright.
Okay. And last one. Let's see. Good. And let it fall. Let that fall, let that. That's good. Go right out this way. And last one. Good. So give it a second.
No, man.
Do you have any message that you want to share, really?
I love my family. I love my friends. And I love, like, I have no hate or something. I love everybody. Like, yeah, it's all about respect and love, you know?
Cool. Well, thanks for letting me.
No problem.
Dude,
man.
yeah. Thanks for letting me too. Of course, bro. Of course. And thank you for sharing
Yeah, no problem.
just a piece of something I wouldn't get to really know outside of being in America, really.
Yeah.
So, and I'm grateful, and I really I'm glad we connected. I'm glad your girl had to use the bathroom today. That hurt.
Yeah, man, thanks. It wasn't a hurry, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for what you shared, and thanks for letting me show you
Yeah,
a little
thank
bit
you.
of what I do. You know, how's it feeling now? Just curious. Just checking in.
It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's better.
Cool, man.
Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you, fam.
Thanks for,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
As we closed out a powerful stop along the tour in Sweden, our sights were set back to Denmark, where we had a lecture set in Aalborg, and we're going to meet Molly's family, who were going to be coming to the lecture with us. We'd be staying in Denmark before heading on to the next country on our magical tour through foreign lands, sharing the power of the inner physician, the power of touch, and neuromuscular release therapy with as many places as we could see through Europe. And in the process of making this second film and going through hundreds of hours of footage of deep and powerful healings of the people in each place that we went to, as we moved forward from here to Aalborg and eventually Germany and Paris and Iceland, it became very apparent that this film could not be contained in 2 parts. And in fact, it's going to take at least 4 films, condensing sometimes 2 countries, sometimes just 1 country, like Iceland, was a movie in and of itself. And to keep out or cut any of the magical moments that we recorded felt like it was doing a disservice to taking you on this journey with us. And so, in a sense, this has become the Release Global docu-series. And so we saw that we really had 2 movies going in parallel timelines. One, documenting the powerful experience and journey and movement that began as we released this first film and it went viral to over 40 countries. And bringing you with us on the journey of this film and its original seated intentions, which was to explore these countries and give you a perspective of how touch and the awareness of touch and connection and the body's power to heal itself has been lost or is alienated in countries all over the world. And it's up to us to bring that awareness back. And eventually, as we continue on, giving you updates of the release movement that started as this first film went viral, and then continuing on our journey, taking you through this magical film through foreign lands to share how the power of touch and in the inner physician transcends language and culture, beliefs, ideologies, a geopolitical perspective. The power of touch is universal. So stick with us. There's more films to come, but we are honored to share part 2 with you.
What's going on right now? We're going on a roundabout. There's lots of roundabouts.
We're gonna fly.
We're gonna fly.
Gonna fly in the roundabout.
Oh, yeah.
So, good morning, whatever that may be. We're on no sleep, sleepy. Can't you see? I have to pee. See, the thing is, we didn't realize that we'd have days going till 11:30 at night, and by that time, on the other side of the world, it was lights, sitting in the day, so it keeps us awake. And now we're on about 40 minutes sleep. We have a lecture today in Denmark.
That totally rhymed.
Did it rhyme?
Yes, it
I
rhymed.
tried to rhyme.
Yeah.
So I did good.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm getting all fields
It
now.
was poetic. This is not allowed but stream. In Denmark we also have this, you know.
Go. You take a picture? Yeah. Here, with my camera. Oh, your camera's fine.
Oh God, it smells.
Go.
Smell it. It smells sweet like honey.
Go. Huh?
We're in Denmark. Join us for release. Oh my God. This is so great. Bro, I can't even tell you how yellow I am under here. All yellow, from here down, yellow.
Come out.
Sorry, plants. Ah. We've been wanting to do that since we saw these fields from the plane. Check off the bucket list, the release bucket list. And the journey continues. We have a lecture to do in Denmark today, in Aalborg, which is a smaller town. And but I feel like we're gonna have a really big response. So let's go. Let's see.
Can I get in here?
Okay, it's recording.
Oh, do the other camera. Go slow-mo. That's not slow-mo.
It's all right.
I want to do slow-mo.
Wait, talk to me, John. John Nash.
Here, I want to do slow-mo. I'm trying to tell this knucklehead Mike that I want to do slow-mo picture.
And this is why you're behind the camera. Okay. Well, thank you for showing us that.
Yeah,
Take care now.
I want to do something.
Enjoy your vacation.
DPS. No DPS.
I forgot to
Where's the
throw
DPS?
GPS. It's the fucking in the ocean. I'm manifesting it now.
I said we're here, Crow.
Ow. That's my partner. No, husband.
Hey.
Hey,
How's it, bro?
Micah.
Good to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
Been a nice trip.
It's been a journey.
It's
been an
a
adventure.
journey, yeah.
This is John.
John.
Hello, John.
On about 30 minutes of sleep.
The whole day.
The whole day.
Yeah. You know, they never sleep and they have energy, you know.
Okay.
You know.
It's the ceiling work.
Yeah.
The proof's in the work.
Soon you're in Iceland and the sun doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yes, and I think they experience sun in Iceland because that would be the least place they would experience sun. Because it has been raining.
I think there's a thunderstorm coming.
Oh, that's scary.
She made it.
I made it.
Jeez.
I was this close yesterday. No.
Oh yeah, this morning she's all like, I don't know where I am. I'm in the middle of a field somewhere.
Oh my God.
And there's deer.
Fucking GPS, I'm gonna
no
throw it
GPS.
overboard.
Let's cross the
Papa!
Oh my God, I can't even believe this dog is real.
See here? give him, and then he get.
There you
Dude, that is not even real dog.
that is the most Rastafari dreadlock dog I've ever seen. Wow. What kind of breed is
It's
this?
a Puli. It's an Hungarian breeding dog.
Wow.
He came only because everyone is.
I found this little lady outside here.
Nice.
Skipping school.
Yeah.
Skipping school.
Oh, Rulle! Have we forgot everything? Hey!
Oh my god. It's like a bouquet of dreadlocks. Which we took advantage of as kids all the time.
Double cream.
That looks really
and
awesome.
some
Clutch your
cheese,
arteries.
something.
Yes, perfect.
No,
That's
we
what I
put the
need.
love in it.
You should eat some.
I know. Yeah.
And plain old broccoli.
Yes. Bon appetit.
It looks beyond plain. It's really good actually. I'm excited about
Silva,
that
you
broccoli.
don't.
While we were eating and getting to know Molly's family, her husband touched base on a specific story tied to, again, the question that came up: who is the Hiltefelk? He shared his experience of what he considered to be these hidden beings that appeared in their bedroom one night.
I wake up because she's talking to somebody. I think, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I turn around. Her bed was placed up against the wall and up against the other wall.
Right.
So you had only two sides.
Yeah.
But all around, there was those silhouettes and the eyes glowing.
Wow.
And she was talking to everybody.
Yeah. Was she lucid? Like, was she like, you know what I mean? Like, was she like present, or was it more almost dream-induced? Like, you know what I mean? Like
She
a
was
trance.
somewhere
In between.
in between those two stages.
Right.
But she was definitely talking to them.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my god, what to do? Turn around, go to sleep. A few years later, many years later, we were driving. She was pregnant with our second son, second child.
Yeah.
8 months.
Yeah.
8 9 months.
Yeah.
Very close to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's snow, and there's ice everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, flat tire, and we are driving about 90 kilometers, just under 60 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And she's losing control of the car.
Yeah, there's a big.
You were driving?
She was driving.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
She had to drive, always. I was just
It makes so much more sense, doesn't it?
I'm a passenger.
So were we. Yes. Until it had to parallel park. Then she was happy to hand it over to me.
No problem.
Yeah.
My first reaction was, I have to help her. What I do, I put my arm between her both arms.
Yeah. On the steering wheel.
On the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I think it's later that evening, maybe the first next day, I realized she had some one arm. She was holding with both arms. Clear as day.
Wow.
There was no doubt about it.
Right.
I placed my hand between those two arms.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I felt when she talked to me about the story in the hospital, I felt that was foreshadowing for something to come, that was even shared with me for perspective, even to be more sensitive to what's happening. Yeah. And I work with the shamanic arts, but also obviously the healing work makes me more of a shamanic practitioner.
Yeah.
But what I found with shamans when they go to places is stranger things happen because they're more open. to the matrix, they're more tuned in, the matrix interacts with them more. And so that's happened for me every place I've ever gone around the world before I even understood it. So, 4 years ago, I just was told, you're supposed to go to Iceland to connect with these hidden beings. And it was for something deeper than I really understood it all. So I have nothing mental towards it at this point. I'm in full trust and surrender. But out of the other very supernatural things that have happened for me in my life, it has that resonant feeling in the gut of the gut.
It didn't fit in the movie, so I thought it must have come for another reason, I think.
That you even shared it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the same, and actually again, it was like to then witness God or spirit or this matrix manifest our guide to originate from Iceland and her to orchestrate our tour to really finish in this place that I've been guided to was, again, there are no coincidences in this life. And so I've partially even felt kind of a foreshadowing focus towards there over all these places I've always wanted to go. They're kind of overshadowed by what I feel is coming when we go to this place, which has been great because it's kept me in a very neutral space as I experience these places, because part of me feels like I'm going to them to bring perspective for touch in other cultures and seeing how people respond to being liberated from all their chemical gunk. So I've been able to see several different people from different cultures and what their experience has been after the work and how they've changed and how different they were. But what's coming there is something like very, very uniquely different, and I have no idea yet what it all means, and it's about us just kind of letting the mystery unfold. So.
The divine flow.
And that's it. Yeah. So the divine flow. Yes.
All foreshadowing of some of the mystery and magic to come on our journey to Iceland, where we would return back to the place where Molly's accident had originally happened, where she wanted to go and have her neuromuscular therapy release sessions done, back on the lands that were the origin of her trauma. Who down the road in Iceland goes through the most transformative journey that truly puts your own life and suffering into perspective, and to go to the deepest places, see the after effects, and assist her in her transformation to be free, finally, of the events that so many of us may not have even made it through, that she has thrived and created the most powerful and beautiful life.
She made it.
I made it.
So here's a great example of how much actual footage we have and how hard it is to fit it into a normal-sized film to truly take you on this journey with us. As we arrived at the lecture space, we came to the quick realization that this was going to be a very full lecture. And that meant a lot of demonstrations and a deep dive into the portal of what it is to activate the inner physician.
The cool thing with this work that I do is it's very destiny oriented. So the right people find it that are supposed to, that have been calling in the transformation. Aloha. If anyone has any challenges with anything I'm saying translation-wise, because sometimes there are some strange words that we have in our slang English terminology that may not be understood, please feel comfortable to let me know, because my overall goal is for you to have an understanding of what we're talking about and have an understanding in relation to yourself and your own body and your own experience. All right. So aloha I'm Michael Skye, and this is John Nash. We are going through Europe filming a movie about the power of touch, and it's been a very interesting journey so far, and we're kind of just getting started. So John is actually going to take us through a process of bringing in presence. So your breath is your connection to energy, to spirit. In the yogic sciences, we call it prana, right? In the ancient arts of Asia, they call it chi. And it's this invisible force that connects you to God. It's actually quite an underrated process. Most of us don't really stay present in our breath because you can't think and consciously breathe at the same time. So the mind wants to keep you engaged in this, and if you start breathing with presence, you start suffocating the mind from being able to think, and the mind freaks out. So we're going to get you into your breath, because in your breath you're going to find more clarity, you're going to come out of the mind, and you're going to be more clear to receive what we have to share. Does that make sense?
Take, for instance, this magical meditation tune-in. How could we keep this from you as the viewer, taking you through this journey, and not give you the opportunity to sit in on this process?
Let's bring you into a breath. We'll do a quick meditation. Don't be worried. It's only going to be like I'm getting them down to like 5 minutes less. It's just a protection meditation, and it's a forget to remember, because it's about forgetting the programs that is in us to remember what is truly divine, which is right now in this present moment. That's all we have, and that's what we're all here for in this moment. The most powerful thing is to be vulnerable, is just close your eyes and feel safe within your breath and safe within the place you're in right now, and to be, to find your truth. And when you find your truth, you find that you're immortal and you're unvulnerable in every level. So what we're going to do is take a deep breath, deep and sweet, through our nose, and we're going to exhale gently all the way down our heart, our stomach, our root, our knees, into our feet. I'm just going to do that a couple times. So the exhale is going to be double the inhale. So we're going to just exhale really soft and gently all the way down our feet. Kind of really feel the sensations of our nose, of our mind, of our eyes, of our hands, of our toes. Just simply being more gentle and more light. Just keep that breath and keep that presence of what may be hurting and what may not be hurting, or what your body's telling you right now. Maybe you're feeling a certain way, or your hip hurts, or your leg. Just kind of feel into that. But keep the breath. So we're going to call on a very divine presence. Your presence. We're going to call on the presence of your true self, your divine self. Or some people call their higher selves. You don't have to do it, but I kind of just put my hands up and I can feel my aura. And I can feel that my divine self and my true self and my angels and our ancestors are here. We're all here. They're all here. And they're accessible within the presence, within the breath. And if you can feel them, it's a beautiful thing. If you can see them, it's awesome. Everyone's different. I'm a more feeler sensation. I can feel the energy. But if you can see them, I love that too. And see how immortal you are in all of this. And within this immortalness, you ask your true self to send love and light around into your crown, and then around into your heart. And take a deep breath and explode that violet light within your heart. And with each breath from after this, you're going to feel the violet light go down into chest and your cells and your water and your blood and your root, all the way down to your feet, all the way down into the core of Mother Earth. You're going to feel the Mother on your left side. You're going to feel the Father on your right, and like a triangle, you're going to feel the Creator, Creatress, which I feel is the child. And you're going to draw a triangle around you. And you're going to feel 3 feet of violet light go around your ground, which is your feet, your outstretched arms, and your crown. And you're going to take a deep breath, and you're going to exhale, and invoke the violet light over your aura. You're going to fill your aura with violet light. Aho.
How are you guys feeling? A little more centered? A little more present? Over here?
Yeah.
Here's a story. As long as you're living in a body that's carrying the chemical weight of everything that's ever happened to you, so the trauma of your birth, the first time you were scolded or you cut your hand or burned yourself, the first time you came into a relationship with pain where you went, ooh, pain is bad, pain could kill me, stay away from pain. And then you escaped into this life of seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. Because all humans live their lives for that reason, to avoid pain and to gain pleasure. Everything you do.
African midwife, she saw one of those, we carry our children around in those with wheels on.
The stroller.
The stroller,
Yeah.
And she asked, why is the baby inside there? Is it dead?
Because it looks like a little casket.
Yeah.
It looks like a coffin. Yeah, because again, the concept of contact and touch, because those babies in the African culture would be held or strapped to the body because then they could feel the warmth and the connection, right? So again, this is where we have gotten desensitized. It's like a coat, a coating. And this coating, your body expects you're going to move all of this memory that you have been accumulating every day. Because every day you go through hundreds of different actions, driving your car, opening a door, drinking from a glass, running, hiking, working, sitting at a computer. These are all actions, and all these actions accumulate this chemical, like a residue. A residue is like a deposit. Now this lover has never been taught to listen to this lover. It's been taught to go into the mind in how it thinks and navigates through reality. So this lover doesn't get listened to by this lover, okay? Now I want you to think that your body is doing thousands of things to keep you alive right now, while your brain is focusing on me talking. Now your brain thinks it can do more than 2 things. It really can't, okay? I rarely see that be the case, but it thinks it can. But see, your body's doing thousands of things to keep you alive. Right now, respiration is kicking, toxins are filtering, lymphatic system's draining, nerves are firing, muscles are contracting, expanding, while thousands of things are happening to provide you sitting here and listening to me in this experience. So that shows me that the body is far more intelligent than the mind. So let's look at the body like a scientist, okay? Like a brilliant scientist, and the mind is like a 10-year-old child that thinks it's really smart, okay? And the 10-year-old child doesn't know how to communicate with the scientist because it doesn't understand science and the intricacy and the brilliance of what this masterful mind, this masterful consciousness can do. So imagine how frustrating it is for the body to not be able to be listened to by the mind that's in charge, right? So we have to educate the mind that this thing has been deeply compromised because nobody taught you how to listen to this more. So we're kind of like one lover, this lover, they're kind of, over time, they move into a state of separation. And then the final stage from separation is divorce, which is not a good place to be in. So I'm kind of a marriage counselor for the mind and the body, because we have to open the lines of communication and let them start speaking. Now this lover hasn't listened to this lover in 3, maybe 4 decades, Okay, 30, 40 years, this lover's not listening to this lover. So it would be like if you were in a relationship for 30 years and your lover, who didn't listen to you for 30 years, one day looked at you and said, I'm sorry, did you say something? You'll be like, ho, do you have a few minutes? Let me tell you everything I have to say. So part of the challenge for the mind is having to listen to the body and everything that has happened to it. And take accountability, okay? Let's have you come up first.
Do you want a chair with the back?
No, this is good.
I'd like to just really quickly say something. So you can sit right there. So when we're around groups of people,
you can face them.
Like in children or in school, like we're taught to do certain things because you're afraid to get made fun of, or you may have got made fun of in school. I remember I got made fun of not reading. I still to this day haven't figured out how to read or write in front of people. I can only read and write still to this day by myself. Just having that. So this is the reason why I continue these meditations, to read, to forget, to remember what is true and that we're connected. So whatever you feel in this moment, feel it, because everyone's going to be different. Because most people, like the 20-year-old Muslim kid, when he was feeling, and he was, Market was doing, he's like, yo man, and he got scared. And that was his 20-year-old Muslim kid from Sweden's feeling. And then he got, because I was there, because she was there. And so what I'm saying, you have a very divine moment to feel. That's what I said, you can cry, you can laugh, you can be sad, whatever, in this moment, because it's supported and you're protected in this moment because we chose to do that.
And because we have a container.
It's a
We've
container.
created a container together. And so all of you are part of that container, whether you want to be or not.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ask you to be selfish, okay? It's okay to be selfish. In fact, that's one of the greater misteachings, is that we are supposed to be selfless instead of selfish. And we look at selfishness from an egoic perspective, but the reality is, if you don't put yourself first, you are no good to helping anyone else. Send electricity from her brain, and they send chemicals into her muscles to tell her arm to do all kinds of things. Open a door, drink from a glass, eat with a fork, right? Washing the laundry, wash a dish, okay. Every time she performs a task, there is a chemical residue that goes into this arm.
This was an amazing interactive lecture where we all went so deep, and there is hours of footage of us going through everyone's neuromuscular release therapy demonstration and the power and the intensity and the impact of their reaction, their process with the work, and witnessing each other go through it. How could we fit all of this into the end of part 2 right now and not have it be a 3-hour movie? Not possible. So our best strategy is to split up this amazing lecture by showing you part of it as we close out the end of part 2 and picking up in the midst of this lecture and the transformation that took place in part 3.
Okay, here she goes.
Hi everyone, I hope you have a great time with my dad.
So good.
We're honored to continue this journey with you, the journey of release. More to come. Stay with us. Aloha and Satnam.